So this circuit, we are going to have our potentiometer hooked up to an LED and a 220 ohm resistor, and we're actually going to have a program running with it later on. And so for this circuit, we have our red wire connected to our 5-volt pin and the positive power rail over here. We have our black wire here connected to ground on the microcontroller and then to the negative power rail over here. Now, connected to the positive power rail, we have this red wire, which is going to connect to the positive terminal of the potentiometer. This orange wire here is connected to the negative power rail and the negative terminal on the potentiometer. Now, this terminal on the potentiometer is called the center tap, and we have it connected to the analog input pin here, 0. Now, connected here with this yellow wire is going to be our output pin, and we have it as pin number 13, but it can be any of these pins here. And that's going to be connected to our LED on the positive side of it here, and then the negative side of this LED is connected to our 220 ohm resistor and back to the negative power rail. Now, these pins here are going to be used with the program that's running. Now, without the program, turning the knob here wouldn't do anything because we haven't told it to. But once we run our program, then we can start to see what it does in the circuit and how it acts with the LED. So here we have our program written for our potentiometer and our LED. And we start here by specifying that our sensor pin is 0 and our LED pin is pin number 13. Now this one, the sensor pin, is our analog input, and this is going to be our output. And so now we start the program with our setup function right here. In this case, we want to start by telling our Arduino that we want pin number 13, which is our LED pin, to be an output. And you can specify here whether you want it to be an input or an output, but in this case, we're going to make it an output. Now we're ready to get into the loop portion of the program. And this is going to run forever, so it's just going to keep going over and over again until we unplug something, basically. And so we're going to use our analog read function to get our sensor value. Now, analog read is just going to give us a value of some voltage that our sensor pin reads. The only parameter that it needs is which pin we want it to read from, which we want it to read from our sensor pin, which is our input. The digital write function right below it is going to tell us which pin we want, and so we want our LED pin, our output pin, and whether we want it to be on, which is high, or off, which is low. Lastly, we're using our delay function here and here, and that's just going to do exactly what it sounds like. It's going to delay the program by a certain length of time, and that length of time is going to be determined by our sensor value that we get here with our analog read. So that completes the whole loop here. So now that we verified the program works and runs properly, I'm going to demonstrate how it makes the circuit do what we wanted it to do. And so as I turn the potentiometer towards the counterclockwise direction, we see it's blinking very rapidly. And as I keep turning it, it starts to slow down until it just about stops towards the end. And so now I have it turned all the way. And now it's blinking very slowly. And so that's what our digital write function did. The high and the low is what's making the light turn on and off. And so that delay function is determining the amount of time it takes for the light to blink. And so here it's blinking very slowly, and then we turn it back and it starts to speed up. And that's because our delay time is getting shorter and shorter until there's really not much of a delay here. It's just blinking very fast. And that's the circuit.